All right. I don't know if this beef that's cooking is going to be too loud or not, but we'll find out in post. So, it is officially a week after the Triple O Dynasty, and so I was going to talk about some of the, like, just a small recap of what kind of happened, um, and then what is obviously, like, what's next. So, obviously, we did really well. We won both classes in classic physique and men's physique, and took an overall in men's physique. And the goal for that show was to establish what division my physique fit best in so that we knew how to continue forward with future competitions. So I'm not done competing yet this season. What we actually are planning is the next show will be on May 17th. It's the Battle of the Falls in South Dakota. It's another regional show. Um, and then we're going to try some new things out there, change up how we peak my body, and just try a different approach. Um, I believe that we learned a lot in the Arizona show that will benefit us in peaking for the next show in South Dakota. And then ultimately, the goal is to take my talents to South Beach. No, I'm just kidding. To compete at the Junior USA's in the end of May, so May 30th. And that was kind of always the goal. 2 years ago when I competed, the goal was to compete, qualify, and then try to be on a national stage competitively. And then after competing, I realized that was way out of my league, and I had to put on a lot more size. So, long story short, for the flash cut here, um, that is still the goal. We're going to try to compete on a national stage and just see how I measure up and what I need to improve on to become more competitive in the bodybuilding scene. So, the Triple O Dynasty was awesome. It was my first overall experience. It was super cool to win. Never won anything really, so that was nice. Um, but what we learned is that we have to load my body much earlier in the week because once we started feeding, my metabolism just kept going up. As I kept eating, I kept burning faster and faster and faster. And so by the end of the day, I would look good, and then I would flatten out, and then we'd force feed, and then I'd flatten out. And then it was just crazy how fast I was going through food. I think on Saturday at 11, when I showed up to the venue, we had already eaten 3,800 calories and over 800 grams of carbs. And it was like, I still went flat. I was backstage pumping up, and like I felt flat, felt like my pumps were fading, and I just started scarfing down Rice Krispie treats and honey and salt water, and we were able to salvage somewhat of a pump. But they also lined us up for the show way early, so it was like they were thinking that they were going to fall behind, or they just didn't want something to happen. So they were like, "You guys, it's going to be going quick. Line up. We need you in stock. We need you in line. You're going to be on like 5 minutes." And then it was like 45 minutes later, and we still weren't on. And so that all of that timing is really, really important when you're trying to peak for a bodybuilding show. So if you're standing around, your legs get washed out. You should be laying down with your feet up, so those leg lines stay crisp and deep. Luckily, they sabotaged everybody. Everybody had to line up crazy early. It wasn't just me, so it was still an even playing field. But so we learned that no matter what they say next time, I'm laying on the ground until the dude in front of me walks on stage. I'll take off my hoodie and pump up in 2 seconds. So, but yeah, we're gonna compete in May 17th, and then Junior USA's is on May 30th. So I'm only competing in men's physique for Junior USA's, but in South Dakota, I am competing double entry again. So get more feedback. The feedback I got from the Arizona show was you need a bigger back and to be a little bit tighter, which by that they mean just have less water retention and be a little bit like less fat. So I think a lot of that came down to like the timing and the peaking and the how fast I was going through food. So I know I'm lean. I know I can be tighter than that. So that's no problem. The back is going to take some time to grow, but if we keep our waist tighter with peaking correctly, it's going to make the back appear bigger. So we're chilling. But so I've been back on the diet ever since we got back on Sunday. So I just have been struggling to make time to talk about the show. I started a TikTok, lame, but follow me on that if you want to. It's just like stupid clips of posing and stuff. I might do some exercise videos on there because I enjoy that, but no Instagram for me, just YouTube and TikTok. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. So, it's just been fun to have my kids and my wife back. They were gone for a while, so they're back now. And that's added another kind of layer of fun. So a lot less stress with them being home, so that's good. But we're just going to keep pushing. We're going to keep dieting. We're going to keep working. And we're going to see if we can't go back to back on overalls. That'd be pretty dope. My expectations are obviously very low. It doesn't matter really how good you look, because somebody could show up that looks better than you, no matter how great you look. So I'm not expecting an overall. I'm expecting to have fun. I have some friends that are going to be attending this show. My wife and kids are going to be coming down. We got an Airbnb, so it's going to be super cool. It's like a bodybuilding vacation. And if you know me, I love bodybuilding. So it'll be a good time. And then we'll just compete, turn around, do it again, and then figure out a new game plan for the next year or two. So anyways, if you do have questions about bodybuilding or my plans or whatever questions you may have, you can ask questions if you'd like. I'll try to respond. And then, yeah, thanks.